So Bill and Adam, as an instructional designer and someone who wants to see a lot of other instructional designers take your course on blended learning, Bill previously had mentioned the book being a bit of a, could be used as a cookbook where you could pull from different places. What I always try to do as an instructional designer with faculty, especially new to the online world or blended world, is try to find an entryway that they're comfortable with. So would you say, is there an easy, would you suggest an easy entryway for instructional designers and teachers from your course and your experiences and your book? What's the easiest thing that new teachers can do to break into the world of blended learning? What can they do starting today that all teachers can do?
Well, I guess I'll answer your question in a way that's might seem a little strange, Michael. But what I'll say is this: I think that actually teachers really care about this stuff and they care about their students. And in a funny way, the biggest barriers to all of this working better are administrative ones. So it's tricky. It's hard. So there's certainly some low hanging fruit that, as professors who are also often deans or administrators or have the ear of the administration, I would say advocate for things like paying your TAs a bit more. TAs are young people who really understand technology, and that's something that every school can do at a very low cost. Have an extra week of summer prep and make part of the job of the TA to build a beautiful website. That's one thing. Another thing is I would advocate for including digital delivery in course evaluations. Students are, technology, digital natives. They're in every other aspect of their life. They're interacting in multiple channels and getting information in ways that make sense to them. And I think that most LMSs currently are super underutilized by professors because it's hard. And frankly, most LMSs are just terrible. We've built a system that makes LMS use easier. It's a formatting templating tool. And so I would say advocate for some support in that area because, again, professors don't need to be technologists. They need to be professors. But so I think there's some support that schools can give professors that's easy. And I think I think certainly so those are two ones. Make a website that allows students to really easily find the information, and use the discussion boards, allow people to really put some effort into creating out of the classroom asynchronous moments that people can engage and create community. I think that's a real thing that everyone can do without, there's not a lot of cost. And I think that having a TA really be your partner and embrace. And we have a bunch of videos about working with people from the CTL at Columbia who do a great job of this question of professor, TA, or course assistant relationship and how you can divide that work. And then I think, from an individual professor perspective, probably those are some of the things. I certainly would say consider active learning and getting your brain around what active learning is and what it would mean in your area. How can you use technology perhaps to free up class time for debate, for actions, for simulations, for projects? That might mean recording some videos. And this is not a new idea. People would talk about flipped classrooms forever. But again, we created the MOOC to provide for people who might be new to it some really easy to follow ways to make a flipped class yourself. We also have a lot of, for people who are instructional designers, Michael, we have a couple of things that we worked for many years to try to think about how to make it easier for professors to create good film content. And one of the biggest problems has always been scripting. So we've come up with a workflow that doesn't involve scripting. It involves scripting and creation of short PowerPoint presentations on the TED Talk model. And then we have a detailed video in the MOOC about how to film green screen, where the professor is seeing their PowerPoint come up and they're interacting with that, and they're giving a lecture as they would a shorter version. They're giving like a TED Talk. There's a very clear, easy workflow for the editing of this and post-production. So we found it's reduced time to make a very good quality flipped class lecture from, from several weeks down to a couple days. And the final thing is, I would say, hire students. If you have a mechanism in your digital education unit to hire students, we have 6 or 7 student video editors and graphic designers working for us, and they're fantastic. They're great. They're much smarter than we are, and they also, as students, they're also able to give you feedback and say, you know what, that's not a good idea, or I wouldn't, as a student, I wouldn't be that motivated by that. I'd love that. So I think that the classes and the things we make, I think are much better because students are involved in the creation. So those are a couple thoughts.
Thank you very much. I want to thank you, for my being a teacher. So as a teacher, I see a lot of room to up my game in the online world. And I see a lot of things in the course that could help teachers. And we should get together as teachers and work together and get better at this. And then as an instructional designer, I also thank you because, yes, we also could up our game in how we talk to teachers, what we could do for teachers, how we could present these ideas to teachers, how we could go to our administrators to help get these things implemented. So big thanks to both of you as a teacher and an instructional designer. And I hope all my audience members checks out the course. It's free. It's on edX. The book is available. I'll put a link to it. If you want to hear what people around the world are saying, the experts, it's all in that book. So, gentlemen, thank you very much for doing this. I appreciate it.